phase 4 of the Youth Soccer Playbook. And again, I'm going to be looking to my left. I have all the content there that I need to make sure you are aware of and adept to. So here we go. Without further ado, phase 4. This is 15 years and older. And this is the accumulation of everything that we've been doing from pre-phase, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Now we're at phase 4. This is where everything comes together and it actually matters. This matters now. So what happens on the field, where you play, what you do actually matters. Remember, I told you the players that are not generational talents need this phase to get their opportunity. So this is zone 2, the opportunity window. And this is all about you now having the skills, having the ability, the mindset, the tactical ability, the charisma, physical, everything ready for you to take advantage of an opportunity so you can get your next level placement. Okay, so I'm going to go in more detail, but just to quickly summarize that for you. Okay, so this is what I call the go big or go home moment, because again, this is going to be make or break. And this window is essentially 15 to 19 years old. It can extend, There are some situations that it extends, but this is typically the age range where it happens to. And what we're trying to do here is think outside the box from what everybody else would do in the youth soccer setup, because everybody else is going to play probably their age group, or they're going to play 1 year up or 2 years up, or they're going to go do ECNL, or they're going to go do MLS Next. And you guys know this. You know what my answer is. But like, there are much better options, especially if you want to be a professional. Much better options than going to play ECNL, MLS Next. And that's just simply because they're not designed to give you the platform, especially on the pay-to-play models. MLS academies are different. I need to make sure that's clear, and I'll separate that later. But I need you to understand that there's a difference between MLS Next pay-to-play and MLS academies. Okay, so understand that you need to be a complete and utter standout continuously, nonstop, especially if you want to get to the next level. If you're not a standout, the chance of you getting to, for example, getting to professional is basically impossible. Basically impossible. Not impossible, but basically impossible, because if you're not standing out on the field, then you're just a bystander. You're just there, but you're not making the impact. So understand that, because your performance, and the result of the team now is extremely important, because there are situations that a player can play extremely well and the team doesn't do well. That does happen. But for the most part, players that do well, the team's going to do well. So just keep that in the back of your mind, because that's going to be an important piece to this, okay? So let's look at the objectives of this. So the objectives kind of come down to, lost my page, I'm sorry. Really a couple of pieces, right? So the first one is, at this phase, we're thinking outside the box, and we're looking at doing things that are different. So different, what would this be? This would be like, again, if you're not in an MLS Academy, which is the 100% free for most of them at least, you want to do adult programming like a UPSL. So adult level competition. It doesn't have to be UPSL, that's just the one that is probably the most well known at this moment for players looking to transition, especially into the adult level competition. And they have 2 levels. They have UPSL 1 and they have Premier. So UPSL 1 is like the lower level, and the way that I translate this back to people is UPSL 1, Division 1, in my opinion, based on my experience, would be that it's closer to like a U17 MLS Academy level in terms of, level of play. The Premier Division would be closer to Division 1 college, because there are some very good teams. And as an example, Orlando City B, which is the second team of Orlando City, they participated in UPSL prior to the creation of the MLS Next Pro League. So when they played this, they played against a lot of Premier teams, and I don't believe that they won the Premier Division. So this is the second team of Orlando City at the time. This is a couple of years ago. This is like 2 years ago. So like 2021, 2020 area. And yeah, so they played. OCB played in the Premier Division of UPSL, and to my knowledge did not win. I'll do more research on that, but I'm pretty sure they didn't win. And even if they did win, they didn't win by a lot. Okay, so just understand that. You really need to make sure in this phase you're focusing on your network, you're improving that area constantly. Who do you have in your network that can help you? That's going to be a big thing at the end of the day. If you want to use college, you need to make sure that you're using the college recruiting platform. I have an entire course that you can get 100% free by going to my bio link on Instagram or my website that walks you through all phases of college recruiting, if that's the path you want to take. And again, this is about my son, so we'll use college in a route that is later. If he can't be a pro, you can always go back to college. Okay, we really need to master the mental side, which would be like focus, dedication, nutrition, and just really doing the right things off the field. Okay, again, stand out and perform, and then earn the next move. And that would essentially be phase 5, which would be your next move. And again, it's all about thinking outside the box. Okay, so here's my opinion, and this is why my son would be going into adult level competition. Because I believe, as of 2023 August, that the best path forward is adult competition. Why? If you look at the rest of the world, so any country in South America, countries in Europe, the best players, or players that want to get to the next level, are playing against grown men. So like, there's guys that are 15, 16 years old training with first teams or getting professional experience. Like, you can't buy that. Like, that's literally experience that you earn, and the same process is here. It might not necessarily be the same level, but at least you can start getting that adult level experience, which will help you take your game to the next level. So that's what we would do to make that decision, because I don't believe that an ECNL or an MLS Next is worth it in that regard. From a pay-to-play perspective, if you're in the academy, that's a different story. Okay, because from an academy perspective, you could get to the first team. It's entirely possible. Okay, now, again, this is my personal opinion. You may or may not agree. I believe that MLS academies are a good option, or can be a good option. You just need to know that what comes with that, which we'll talk about in a separate video. But the other ones that offer an ECNL and offer an MLS Next pay-to-play are going to probably be a cash cow. So why am I highlighting that? In like 98.7% of cases, they have no desire to develop you and no desire to place you, because they don't get your money anymore. You're leaving their program. So you get the badge that does have exposure, great, but that's not, I've talked about this before. There's a difference between exposure and being exposed, which again, I'll talk about in a separate video, or actually I have. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And, as a personal reference, we did this with our own age group. So with my club, which I have right here, High Soccer Prospects, we put our 2006 and 2007s in adult competition, which was a UPSL. We played UPSL Division 1. And interestingly enough, we were given the unique opportunity that you only get playing on a senior national team. And this was a scrimmage against a other senior national team. In fact, the same national team that played against the U.S. men's national team in the Gold Cup. On June 8th, we played against the St. Kitts senior men's national team. The exact same national team, or one of them, that played against the U.S. men's national team in the Gold Cup. Like, that's something you can't buy. I never got that as a kid. So I had 15, 16, 17-year-olds getting that experience. I have the video, by the way, which it's on our YouTube, our club page. It's actually private, so it's unlisted. But we have the video. We had a commentator. We had a live feed. It was amazing. And again, like, how can you buy that experience? You can't. So it's a very unique opportunity for my players that got to go play against the St. Kitts senior men's national team. And like, just for reference, there were 3 guys that were on Premier League rosters. I don't think they played, but they were on the roster. There was, I think, 5 guys on the championship roster in England. One of them scored a ridiculous goal, by the way. We ended up losing 4-0. And then the rest were basically League 1 or League 2 players in England. So they're all basically professionals. So it was great. And, to add value to this, I don't know of any ECNL or MLS Next team that's going to get an experience like that. And the only reason why I got that opportunity for the kids was 2 reasons. 1, I had a mutual contact. And 2, they happened to be looking for a game against somebody that had adult level experience but wasn't high level, right? So like, our group is a good level for their age and playing up, but like, to play like top level, we're not top level yet. Hopefully in the future we will be, but that's why we got the game. And it was because we were in adult competition. Okay, so let's get back to the main point now that I've talked about that for a little bit. And the key about this is you have 15, in this phase, you're gonna start at 15 years old. If you can dominate and stand out in a UPSL, you can and you will get scouted. So I'll give you another personal example, right? We had a kid actually start at 14 years old. First game he played in, 14-year-old kid, by the way. And a lot of people are going to say, well, he's probably big or fast or strong. Zero of that. Small, very clean technically, mentally incredible, very strong mentality. And he ran the show, especially in the second game. But the first game we ended up tying 1-1. He got the first goal of the game at 14 years old playing against grown men. Second game, dominate. I mean, dominate. He's running the show, bro. Running the show, gets a goal and an assist. And we make a highlight video of that game. We send it out to a couple of people. He gets invited to an international tournament in South America. And from there, he got invited to join a professional academy. So he's in a pro club right now, playing 1 year up. And I think that experience for him was completely invaluable playing against grown men. And he performed at 14 years old. 2 games, 2 goals, and 1 assist. Like, you can't buy that. And it's just about, literally, it's just about standing out. Because what you guys, I don't think, understand is at this phase, it's literally survival of the fittest. Like, you have to survive, 1, but 2, you have to thrive. And if you're not doing that, you're not surviving, and then you're not thriving, you're not going to make it to the next level. Because what you need to be able to see at this age group or at this phase is, can you handle the mental pressure? Can you perform against adults? Because if you go to college or you go be a pro, you're playing against grown men already, so you might as well get used to it now. And then, can he or she impose himself? So I'd like to see this about my son. Can he impose himself and stand out? And those are the 3 questions that I would want to answer for my son. Can he handle the mental pressure? Can he perform against adults? And can he impose himself and stand out? And if he can, on a consistent basis, not just one time, but on a consistent basis, then he can move and get to the next level. Okay? Because I'll say it again, like, South American and European players are getting first team experience at 15, 16, 17 years old. And that means they're playing against grown men. And a great example would be Jude Bellingham, who just signed for Real Madrid for like 115 million. And it was all because he was playing pro at 16 years old, which means, interestingly enough, he was probably at least getting at least 6 months training before that with the first team, or at least the second team. So I believe this is something we need to do better of, providing our youth players an opportunity to play against grown men to better prepare them for the real level, the real football, okay? And I'll give you this example, and I hope this will kind of hit home and, I don't want to say exaggerate the point, but finalize the point. And here it is, okay? So April 2023, we had 8 players of ours play with another group, but play against college teams. One of those teams is UCF, because I live in Orlando. And as of April 2023, the entire starting 11 of UCF men's soccer was international. So, like, here's an example. The starting goalkeeper is from a professional club in Spain, okay? He was on the B team. So he's either 18, 19, 20 years old. Very good, by the way. I mean, very, very good. And this kid had tons of potential. I think he didn't make it because he didn't pass the eye test. He was shorter. He was probably 5'11" or 6 foot. And, you know, for goalkeepers, it's pretty important that they're taller. But anyways, the point is, he was on the second team of a professional club, probably one of the top 5 or 6 in La Liga. And the question I then have is, he was on the second team, so the B team. How is an American kid who plays ECNL or MLS Next, their age group, or even 1 year up or 2 years up, and they're a goalkeeper, supposed to compete with a kid that plays on the second team of a professional club in Spain? Like, how are they supposed to compete with that? Like, I want you to answer that question. And I don't think you can, because the answer would be they can't. Like, the mental pressure to handle that just doesn't exist. And you're not going to get that from playing your age group in ECNL or MLS Next, or even playing 1 or 2 years up. The only way, in my opinion, that you can replicate that, and again, this is why my son would go into the adult game, hopefully pro, would be to handle the mental pressure of playing against grown men. So just understand that, because that's a big thing, like, to think about. Most people don't understand that concept, so at least I hope that relays the message back to you in that way. Okay, so this is key. I need you to understand, because this may happen with my son, so I have to present this information, is that your player, so in the case of my son, when he makes the jump to adult, so he's gone from youth to adult, it may take him some time to adjust getting to the next level, which would be, again, playing adult, playing UPSL. He might not make that transition smoothly right away, like this one kid that was 14 years old. It may take a week, it may take days, it may take months, it may take years. That's why it's this window of basically 15 to 19 years old where the player has to perform between these age groups. And it may take 2 years, it may take him 2 years to start performing. Obviously, the younger that they can do it, the better off they're going to be, but it does happen that they take time. There's an adjustment. I mean, for sure there's an adjustment and learning curve to playing with grown men, but the ones that are mentally the strongest can make it through, because the thing is, a prerequisite is technique. If you don't have technique, you can't play at this level, right? Obviously, but having the mental capacity to handle that pressure, they will be okay. And at this point, it's going to be hard. I can't say anything else, that it's not going to be hard, but it'll be very hard. No playtime is guaranteed, and you have to earn it. And if they want to be a player that earns it, these are the type of things that my son will be doing to showcase that. He's going to show it on the field of play every single time. He's going to be the best player every single game, or like top 2 at a minimum. Be vocal, assertive communication, so he's expressing himself, giving direction and instruction. Give everything, so this is like 300,000%. Leave the field with no regrets. Like, you can make a mistake. There's a difference between making a mistake and a regret. Like, you left, like a regret would be like you left something on the field, like you didn't give your all, or you realize that you could have tried to block a shot and you didn't do that, or something like that. Like, just from an effort standpoint, you make and create plays. It doesn't matter the position, but you make and create plays, and you're going to defend with effort and intensity. And again, if you can play in the UPSL, let's say you start in UPSL Division 1, you do well, you go to UPSL Premier the next year, and you do very well, you're going to get out, obviously with a network, but those are key things that you need to know and understand to take your chance of getting to the next level. So I'll add this little nugget for you too. So I spoke with the Orlando City Academy director. We're friends. We're not, great, but, friends, acquaintances is probably a good word. And, I was talking to him and I was asking him these questions, just to kind of like pick his brain on what they do. Okay. So they have, for their academy, they have 15s and 17s that are full-time. Then from the 17s, you go to OCB. There's no gap year between this. Okay. So I asked him, like, hey, what do you guys do to help prepare the team or the players that may have the chance to go to the B team or the first team? And he said one of the things they do outside of pushing 1 or 2 players up to play with the B team or play with the first team, whatever they need to do, is that they go play top U19. So they're going to play 2 years up, top U19, or play UPSL. So they're already getting UPSL games as a U17 player. Like, again, that's invaluable experience because they're trying to prepare players for the first team or for the B team. And an interesting side note for this, I think, would help you understand this. I think I said it earlier, but I'll re-emphasize it. OCB, before the creation of the MLS Next Pro League, participated in UPSL Premier Division. So they played it before the creation of the MLS Next Pro League. So OCB is the second team of Orlando City, and they used it as a pathway. So if OCB used it as a pathway, and they played in the league, does that not provide value to you, that you would think that maybe they would recruit players from there? One, the other side would be that there are 13 MLS Next, that's not correct either. There are 13 MLS academies. 13 MLS academies, I need to make sure I'm very clear with this. Not MLS Next, not pay to play. MLS academies that have teams in UPSL. So one of them is DC United. DC United has a UPSL team for their MLS academy, okay? So, like, what does that tell you? They use it as a stepping stone. A lot of them have a bridge. So they have the U17s, and they're going to have a U19 or whatever, U19, U20. They play there in UPSL, and the ones that do very well move up to the B team or the first team. Now, I want to transition this a little bit. I want to talk about kind of off the field stuff. So between 15 to 17, it still goes up to 19, but I'm trying to highlight this phrase or this age group especially for my son, is the commitment level. Is he ready to really get to the next level off the field? Because if you're not willing to do this stuff off the field, or if he isn't, he's not getting to the next level. Okay, so this would be nutrition and hydration, avoiding parties because he's in high school now. I know he'll be in virtual school or homeschool, but people still want to go out and party. Most kids do that. Can he stay focused and stay grounded on what he needs to do and avoid things like alcohol and drugs? I don't like to bring this up a lot, but it does unfortunately happen a lot with teenagers, and you'll even see with athletes. They'll get involved in that kind of stuff, and that will, take away from their development, obviously. And gym work, are they going out? Is he going into the gym? It doesn't have to be like a lot of weight, but push-ups, core work, leg work. It doesn't even have to be like weights. It could be body weight, it could be plyometrics, but is he willing to put in the effort in the gym? When I say gym, to work out. That's really the key word, to work out physically. You don't have to, I think it's important to lift weights, but you don't have to be pushing tons of weight. It's just trying to build an athletic performance body. Okay, and then also stretching, doing rehab, stretching, ice baths, heat baths, recovery. This is all stuff that goes into the recovery process that if you're not willing to buy into, my son ain't getting to the next level, okay? And I do want you to take this. I think this will help add value to you, and I'll get you like a personal example, but like you need to understand, like, this is my opinion again. You may or may not agree, that's okay. I believe that the youth level does not prepare players for the realities of college or, of course, professional. And I remember the day that I started preseason in college. I played Division II, which I think I've talked about earlier, but I played D2, and it does not prepare you for the realities of it. Like, I remember walking in as a freshman, 17 or 18 years old. I think I just turned 18, and I'm like, yo, bro, what is this? Because, example, preseason. I think our college preseason was 3 weeks, which is actually short, but 3 weeks. We got there, we checked in the first day. I think the second day we had a meeting. Third day we started training. Third day, we're doing 3 days. So first day, physical work in the morning. Second part is we're doing classroom work, which means like we're doing film and like how we want to play and whatnot. And the third session would be at night, and you're doing more training. And I'm like, man, I'm doing 3 sessions a day. Haven't really done that ever. I did camps and stuff, but that's not the same thing. We're talking hour and a half training, hour and a half film, hour and a half training, rest and repeat for the next 3 weeks. And, I'm playing against grown men because in D2, they have a lot of older players. So like, I think we had a guy that was like 25 or 26. That was a huge jump. I never had that experience. And then, we had video sessions, and then we had doubles. So session in the morning, video session at night. And like I say this, and I hope people understand this concept, but like youth is here, college is here, and pro is here. Like the reference I'm trying to make is they're on different planets. Youth soccer in this country is here. Then you have college, which is, Mars. And then you have professional, which is like Pluto. Like, it's completely different levels, completely different planets. And like, I'm exaggerating obviously, but like, it's true. Like, it's not even close to the same level. And that's why I highly recommend, and will do this for my son, is go and play against adults. So if you want to use college as your pathway, and let's say my son makes the decision, hey, I want to go to college, and that's fine. Like I said, I have an entire college recruiting course that you can have access to, that my son would have access to, because like, I made this mistake, and I don't want you to make the same mistake of thinking that a college is going to come after you. And some will, but probably not the schools that you want, because if you're not a generational talent and a absolute beast and standout performer, you're not going to be recruited by the schools that you want. That's just not how this works. And, I didn't know this until my senior year of high school, and I was playing DA, man. I was in the DA. Good player. I was getting attention from some schools, but like not the dream schools that I had in mind. That was frustrating because I'm like, what do I have to do? And I didn't learn until my senior year that that's not how this works. They're only going after 0.01% of kids. So you just have to be mindful, because it's not, if you're a generational talent, obviously, but this playbook isn't about generational talents. This playbook is about everybody else that's not a generational talent. So if you're not a generational talent, it's going to be the player with the best network and the most skill that makes it. You could be this top player, But like, if you don't have the network, you're not going to get somewhere. So you need to make sure that you're building connections, and ask yourself this question: who is in your network? Like, that's important to understand. So, and another part to this would be, and I think this will help relay the message, is that there's no incentive for anybody to help you, like zero. Like, you pay a club to play, right? Whatever the division is, whatever league, whatever, you're paying them to play. They have no incentive to help you. They get no financial gain. Like, all these videos that I create, I don't make money off this. Like, I'm doing it because I want to help educate people to make better decisions, so you stop wasting your time, your money, and we can hopefully change the process here of youth development. That's it. And I think in the long run that'll make a difference, because the only organizations right now that can get access to compensation for formation and solidarity payments is MLS academies. That's why they're free, or that's why they should be free. So like, understand this, that nobody has to help you. They have zero obligation, they have zero need, they have no desire to help you. It's up to you, my son, and the parent, me, to help build that platform for my son to get out of here. Okay, and if somebody's gonna help you, they're gonna charge you a fee because it's a pay-to-play model. The only thing that somebody could do, to be honest with you, is sign a personal agreement with the family and say, look, we'll pay for X, Y, and Z. When you sign, you're going to pay us. So you're going to pay us, a signing. So if you make $100,000 on a signing bonus, you're going to give us 50%. You're going to pay us $50K. Like, that's how that kind of deal would work. And understand that, again, nobody has to help you unless you're a top prospect. Now, I want to give you this example scenario, and I think this will help you, okay? So let's look at it like this. So let's imagine you started playing UPSL at 15 years old. I got some numbers that I'm going to give you, and I want you to kind of think about it this way. Okay, first year you play UPSL Division 1 just to get accustomed to the league. The total number of games with playoffs over the course of a year, so it's 2 seasons, would be 32 games. So you play 32 games. Your first year at 15 years old, you start 7 times. You get 6 goals and 3 assists, which is decent. 15-year-old and you're able to pull that off, that's good. Okay. Big adjustment to adults. You struggled early to get it. You made the adjustment along the way. You had to earn it. You didn't get to play as much as you wanted because there was 32 games. You only played 15 games. You started in 7. So you scored about almost a goal every 2 games, a little less. I should say you got 9 goal involvements. That include 3 assists. And that's good. And I should have said this earlier. I didn't. But this is assuming that you're a number 9. Okay? So big adjustment to adults, 100%. And you saw that, unlike youth soccer, playing time is earned. So that's a step in the right direction for you because you're earning what you do. So let's say the next season, you're now 16 years old. Let's say your club had 2 age groups. They had a UPSL 1 and a Premier. You do very well in like preseason, you get sharp. They move you up to the Premier division. So this is the top division of UPSL. This is now year 2, you're 16 years old. You're going to get more starts. 30 games played. Let's say you had a small injury or something, so you missed 2 games. 24 starts. So way more, almost 3 times, 3x. More than 3x actually. 16 goals, 5 assists. So you played 30 games. You got a goal every 2 games and 5 assists. So your goal involvements were 21. That's excellent. And very sellable. Extremely sellable. Especially if you have a network, you could probably get yourself out of there and go to an MLS Pro Academy, maybe get to Europe. I mean, there's things you could do. But let's assume you don't, and you do 1 more year UPSL. So let's say year 3, UPSL, U17. You're now the main player. You're the big boy on campus. Okay? 31 games played, you missed 1 game. 30 starts, 25 goals, and 7 assists. That is... That's more goal involvements than games played. That's excellent business. You're going to get somewhere, especially if you have a network behind you. You're an impact, you're a standout, and you're a goal scorer. So in 3 seasons, I mean, you scored 60 goals, 50 to 60 goals, give or take. That's an incredible record. You're under 18 years old. That is big time. You can get out of here. And I think that will help a lot of people understand, like, impact in performance. If you do well, you can get out of here. And you can even get out of there sooner. Just more impact you make, the better opportunity you're going to have, okay? So, and I need to add this point because I think a lot of people get confused about this in terms of team training, okay? And that would be that at this phase, 15 and older, the team training should not be much technique. There should be a little bit, but it should be mostly tactical principles and small-sided games to prepare players for the real game. So you're going to be doing a lot of tactical variation training, play, things like that. Like, what's the word I want to use? I was going to say fundamental work, but it's not fundamentals. Functional work, where you're moving the ball based on how you want to play. Things like that. Tactics, strategy, small-sided games. You need to do a lot of position-specific work during this phase. So my son will do a lot, because if he's the 9, as an example, he needs to have probably 3 days a week of position-specific work just to build those core skills and accelerate his development, because you're not going to get that from team training, unfortunately, in this country. That is hugely important, because team training is not enough. And on a side note to that, like, you need to understand that, I gave you a pretty perfect scenario, especially year 2 and year 3 with this example player. But year 1, you only started you didn't even start half the games. You played half the games. Like, you're going to have to grind. Like, it's going to be a grind for my son, and for anybody watching this, to get to the next level is a grind, bro. Like, you're going to be struggling a lot. Playing time is never given, bro. It's earned. You have to go earn your playing time. And a parent, like, I understand that you want to step in. Like, my role, if my player really wants to play, I'm going to be like, listen, bro, you want to play for real? Yes, Dad. Dude, stop talking to me. Go talk to your coach. What do you need to do more to play more in the UPSL? And they'll tell you. Bro, you want to play real level football? This is what you need to do. You can come talk to me again, son. We'll talk about it. But, like, this is real life. This is where you said you want to get to. So are you going to quit, or are you going to step forward? Because I'm going to be like, bro, this is your dream, not my dream. I didn't say I want to be a pro anymore. You said you want to be a pro. So you better go talk with your coach and figure this stuff out. Okay? And, that is such a huge piece to this, because it's like, you guys need to understand, man, like, there's so much to this. But if you do that and you follow that plan and you perform in the UPSL, let's say it's 3 years, you get to 17, dude, you'll get out of there. You will get out of there. You need to buy into that, because, like, you'll have a much better chance of getting out from there than you would from an ECNL or MLS Next pay to play, in my opinion. And I'm talking about going pro. I'm not talking about going to college. You might be able to navigate that through college. Okay, cool. I'm talking about being a pro, but they're still not going to prepare you pay to play option wise, ECNL, MLS Next, for getting to and being successful at the next level. Because, bro, I played DA. That was the pre-MLS Next. I played it. I was not prepared for college. Not even close. Not even prepared for it at all. And then college didn't even prepare me for the journey of trying to be a pro, which I'll talk about in another video. But, like, they're, like I'm saying, like, they're all on different planets. So you might as well start trying to prepare yourself for the next planet, not to be on planet Earth. And the only way you can do that is moving into the adult level competition. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully you enjoyed that. That's all about phase 4. These are all the phases. I do have side notes that I'm going to go through every single one for you and put them together in the collection. But at least you can have every single phase broken down and know where to watch them and get the content. As always, guys, if you love this information, smash that like button. Put a comment. I'll get to it. Subscribe and ring that notification bell. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.